Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The host of the Mindless Midnight Show would like to welcome you to their latest episode full of late-night humor as we explore just about anything with our very special guest. Without further ado, here are your hosts, Nick and Josh. Warning, some of the contents of this podcast may be found offensive. This podcast is not for the weak, lack of experience, and common sense, including children, unless they have been given permission.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Mindless Midnight Show where we have a special guest on, and today is Jeff from Riverview, and Riverview is an up-and-coming band and they are badass. They already have a pretty decent following and they're growing and growing and growing. They just released a brand new song called Knuckles, which can be found pretty much anywhere. I listened to Deezer and nobody knows what the fuck Deezer is. But it's on Deezer, and I was like, kick ass. So, Jeff, how are you today, man?
Excellent. Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
For sure. Hell yes. So I guess one of the first questions that comes to mind whenever I hear anybody in a band is, how did you all meet?
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, it's just me on tonight. No one else could make it here, but it's pretty funny, actually, our story, because I'm actually the newest guy in the band, and I'm like the black sheep of the band because I moved from the Chicagoland area down to Little Rock, Arkansas, which before I was working for my company that I work for now, I didn't know anything about Arkansas or limited geographical location on where
not
it was
many
at,
do.
Yeah. So I moved to Arkansas, and a lot of country music and southern style down there. So I was just reaching out on Instagram, and I was like, it was like a Little Rock or Central Arkansas like music group or something on like Instagram. And I just was like, hey, does anyone like pop punk or metal or hardcore or something like that? Just trying to get into a niche of some music that I enjoy. And Tyler, our drummer, actually hit me up and was just like, hey, we need a bass player. And I was like, well, I play bass. And they're like, all right, you're in the band. And I was like, that was the easiest audition of my life. Like these guys not even know. Yeah.
No audition.
They threw me in the band chat, and it was just like going from there. You know what I mean? It was just like, they were talking about anything from what music they like to just, instruments and gear to, just bullshitting about random stuff. So it's kind of how I weaseled my way in, and I lucked out because they pretty much had our whole EP written. So I kind of just was a able-bodied bass player, I guess, in Arkansas. So no, but I got to meet them and kind of been hitting it off with them, and we all kind of clicked. We're all the same, good personalities, sense of humor and stuff, and a lot of the same taste in music. So I just kind of met them through that, social media and internet and everything makes things a lot easier these days, and especially being in a new city and stuff, not knowing anyone. So that's kind of how I came to meet those guys. Backstory on Jacob, our drummer, or our guitarist Jacob, and drummer Tyler, they've known each other a lot longer. So they've been making music over the last probably 2 years on and off, just various projects and things like that. So they've known each other a lot longer. And then Brady and Garrett, the singer and our lead guitarist, they're just kind of, Central Arkansas guys that have kind of just met through the scene and met through mutual friends and things like that. And so that's kind of how the whole band formed. But I was the last piece. So it's cool to be a part of this, especially since we just dropped Knuckles, like you said, our first single, and it's been getting some pretty good reviews and feedback from everyone. And with quarantine and everything and COVID, we can't really do too much anyway. So it's been nice to be able to promote the song and start growing an online social media base following. Since
you have to, man.
Yeah,
definitely. So with how simple it was to be assimilated into the band, did part of you be like, okay, this is not fucking real? Like this is not. They're not going to be like serious or really good. Like I mean, the reservations. I'm because I can imagine like you're like, I want to join something, and these guys, well, we got stuff like. Yeah, but do you though? But then you get there and you're like, oh shit, they actually have shit going. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I think early on, you kind of get that when you're a kid or younger and stuff, and you're playing. It's like you kind of have that ADD with like music. So you're like you're at school and someone's like, "Oh, I play guitar," and it's like, "Well, let's be a metal band." And then like you do that for like a couple weeks, and then it's like someone else is like, "Well, I want to start an indie band," and then you're like, "Oh yeah, metal's stupid now. I'm not into that. That's stupid." So kind of going through that, it was like, all right, like these guys are cool and like I'm chatting with them and stuff, but it's like, what's the music sound like? Like, am I gonna, because I've gotten a little older. You're trying to take stuff a little more seriously. Just everyone's got a personal. I think the musicianship, you want to personally be the best you can with whatever you're doing. So that was the big thing. Yeah, once they showed me the music and stuff, I was like, man, this is really good stuff. Like I must have just fallen on the horseshoe or something, lucked out and met these guys, and they got some good stuff in the works already, and obviously be looking forward to kind of getting more into the writing process with them and stuff as we get further along into the band, evolves more and stuff now being a part of it. So
yeah, absolutely. So what made you guys, or I guess I'm sure you probably know the answer to this question, but like since you were the last piece of the puzzle, I still got to ask, do you know like why they came up with the band name Riverview?
Yeah, so in Little Rock, there's the Arkansas River that goes right through the city, and there's just some really cool like old industrial type bridges that go across from North Little Rock to Little Rock. So it's kind of an iconic scene for the city. Just kind of one of those views you see on everything. And then I think, I might butcher this here, but I think when Jacob and Tyler and all them were kids, there was a skate park they'd go to, or there's a kind of an iconic skate park around Little Rock called Riverview Park or something like that. And so we kind of tied the two together. I think it was kind of some nostalgic old skateboarding day stuff with them, and then into just the city that we're all kind of surrounding. I actually live in Little Rock. A couple of them live outside of Little Rock a little ways, but for the most part, if you're within an hour of Little Rock, you're kind of all suburb kind of.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's cool.
So that's kind of
like,
backstory on it.
Yeah, it was like when I've listened to the song a handful of times because I like it, and
it is really good.
It is, and it really like it sounds like a song that's badass to just drive around to. Like it's a good fucking driving song, So the name. Honestly, and the album or the cover, the art for the song when you have it, it's like scenic and it matches the song really well, and that's cool. Now I noticed because whenever I had talked to Jacob on Facebook about doing an interview with you guys, and I followed y'all's Facebook page and I check it out every now and then, and I saw that you guys have pictures of y'all's bios and stuff, and your picture shows you on stage. So you have done stuff with other bands, right?
Yeah. I've been in some various stuff. Most recently, I've been in a cover band that plays around Chicago, Northwest Indiana. Just a big, I guess, cover band scene. You can kind of keep playing. Through all this COVID, I've played a few shows over the last, couple months just because there's been some local kind of bar type, need for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I've always done that. And then I've been in, other local bands around the Chicago area. So I lived up around just outside of Chicago for most of my life. So that's pretty much been my scene, I guess, is the Chicago area. So I've been actively playing for the last 5 or 6 years, kind of, on and off, like I said, local bands or just in cover bands, stuff like that. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, you look fucking great for like what, 14? You're 14, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm 30, so I'm a couple years older than the other guys. So I guess I'm the father figure of the band. So.
Hey, fuck yeah, dude. Well, that's cool because so do you have? Yeah, you're right. So do you have more experience than the rest of the band members?
I think me and Tyler probably. Tyler's our drummer. He was in a pretty decent sized local band. I think they were called Slick Grip, and they were out of the Central Arkansas, Little Rock area. They had a pretty good following. I don't know how long they were together for, but they played some big show. They played some big shows from like Dallas to St. Louis, so kind of like regionally, small tours, stuff like that. So Tyler's probably been a little more in like the regional touring and I guess more of the touring aspect with some original bands. I never did much of that. It was just Chicago was such a big market, so it was easy to score shows every weekend or every day wherever, there's a million places for all that. So me and Tyler probably, I think Brady and Garrett have done some shows and performing and stuff, but I don't know in a band scheme. But I think this is Jacob's first project, kind of going all in on it. So, but yeah, so him and Tyler just wrote a lot of this stuff. Around Jacob's in school. Tyler works full time. I work full time. Brady works full time, and so does Garrett. So we all just kind of work everything around our schedule. So.
Dude, we both know that game because we're developing a video game as well as running the Mindless Morning Show as well as our regular jobs. So our plates are full. So I totally get that.
It keeps you sane though, doing stuff, especially now with COVID and stuff. I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm a new construction and remodel plumber, and so I still drive around all the time. And Josh, you gotta let him in on the inside joke, man.
Every episode, he has to let everyone know he's a plumber.
It's been going on, and now it's like I just have to throw it in there somewhere because
it's a must.
I just have to. Yeah. So
I know who to call if shit backs up, but.
Well,
so
I don't really do service, but yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about like yourself. Like how long have you been in the music scene and like all before getting to Riverview?
Yeah. So, growing up, I was always into music. I knew I was really passionate about it just from a young age. I mean, I was always making my parents, drive me to the store and buy CDs and stuff when they'd come out, or, try tricking your parents into buying the parental advisory, Limp Bizkit album when it would come out or something like that. So, I was always real into music. I kind of always just fiddled around with it. My mom plays piano. So have some, my mom's side of the family is pretty musical. So I was always like fiddling around with instruments and stuff. And then in college, end of high school, college, I was kind of playing like guitar off tabs and stuff and just trying to learn myself. And it, kind of limited me. I didn't really get super far with it. It was just, I think it was because I never had like direction on it. I was just trying to learn it off tabs and stuff, and tabs aren't always right online and stuff like that. So once I got out of college and had more free time and stuff, I was living back at home, and I started taking guitar lessons from a guy that went to Berkeley School of Music out in Boston. And he was like jazz and blues and, rock, kind of all into that grouping there. And I learned a lot from him, and I had been going to him I still go now when I'm up home and stuff. So kind of built a friendship with him and had been going for 10 plus years learning guitar. And I really kind of, I think, grappled onto it then because I had more of a direction on the music and theory too with it, along with, trying to learn songs by ear, or just having a bunch of different musical genres, and sometimes can get confusing, and having someone there to help kind of guide you through it is pretty sweet. It helps get you through some of those, mental blocks and stuff. But just always been drawn to music, just from listening to it to, being into bands and, going to shows and stuff. I mean, I think the first show I went to was like towards the end of high school in Chicago with some of my buddies. And like the first time I saw something live, it was just like just changed my world. You know what I mean? You
actually felt the music.
Yeah, you feel it. Especially if you go to like a metal band and shit. Because I remember my first concert I saw. I didn't get into concerts until a little bit later in life. I saw Slipknot live, and that was the first time I'd ever seen a band live. And I'm like, fuck, this is crazy. I love it. So
I saw this band called Soil. I don't know if you guys know who they are.
I do.
Yep, I know who Soil is.
They were like an old, kind of in that early 2000s. I think they classified as like butt rock or something like that. Like that kind of
butt rock.
The butt rock.
Yeah, have you ever heard that butt rock?
No.
It's It's like radio rock, radio metal kind of stuff, you know, like maybe like Old Disturbed or something like that.
Like right on the fringe of being allowed to be on the radio.
Yeah. And as you got older, like it was like a lot of stuff that like you jumped into other genres from, you know what I mean? And it was like after a while, you're like, you know, they were cool, but like how'd I listen to them? You know what I mean? Like just so it was like this band called Soil, and I saw them live, and I was like, dude, this is pretty sick. And then I went to Warped Tour like that summer, and there were some metal bands there, and when I heard like the mic'd up drums with the double bass and stuff, it was just like crushing my chest, and I was like, all right, there's no turning back. Like this is like the sickest thing ever.
Is it the same feeling though when you're up there on stage as opposed to being down there?
Yeah. So I played some pretty cool venues with like some awesome PA systems and stuff where I've like gone DI into the sound system and stuff, and my bass just is like, you know, like do a bass slide or something, and it feels like the walls are crumbling behind you. You know what I mean?
That's
just
cool.
like shit. It's like I'd never be able to play this loud in my apartment or my house. You know, cops would be here in like 2 seconds. And,
so you're like full on death clock trying to just like bring the building
down. Slap the open bass chord, and it's just like you feel it like reverberating behind you.
That's awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, that's like the coolest thing I think, in my opinion, about playing is just like being able to like, you know, direct input into the PA and just play like obnoxiously loud, and no one can tell you to turn it down.
I always wondered how that was.
I never thought about that.
It was just kind of like my dumb mind thinking like all the speakers kind of look like they're out there forward, they're pushing out, so maybe they're okay. That's why, like, because I don't think I can't play an instrument if my life depended on it, and I feel like if I had like the feeling and the rush as being at a concert and feeling the bass, I don't think I would definitely be able to play either.
Josh, you'd be too scared to play.
I would. I would play the brown note and shit my pants.
Hell yeah. So being at live shows, I don't know how crazy they get or have gotten. Have you ever crowd surfed?
Oh yeah. Like I kind of
nonchalant. Like, oh yeah, of course.
I kind of like got into like the hardcore scene. I don't know if you know like much about the hardcore music scene or anything like that, or like kind of more like the underground, like, you know, the little dive bars that would have a stage in the back, and you kind of show up and there's like 60 people packed in, and there's no stage, or the
like
stage
some
is like
G.G. Allen stuff.
I don't know who G.G. Allen is.
Oh man,
I don't either. Josh, you're old.
Well, I mean, anybody can look it up. But he's really good grunge, but he's not he's like really out there. Like, eat my diarrhea, stick a cross up a nun's, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Won't get to it.
Yeah, no, it was just a lot of like, you know, intimate, smaller venues with like the singer would toss the mic in the crowd and then just like jump off the stage, and then he'd be like crowd surfing, and the kids would be jumping on the stage and then diving, you know, stage diving off. It was just pure chaos. And it was like, you know, it was like a cool outlet to go to that and be like, you can lose your mind here and like not get in trouble for it. And the music was great too. So I kind of like grew up,
a good level of confidence.
Yeah, I think, you know, kind of in that scene, you kind of grow up, and then you kind of start knowing everybody that's there, and it's just like you're going to a show to hang out with your friends, and then it's pretty cool that the band's playing too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Like, you know, being in like a smaller kind of scene like that. Like I never went to a lot of bigger shows as a like younger kid. Like it was all like I said, dive bars, little small venues in the city, and there was a lot of good local bands around Chicago. And especially with like a lot of pop punk and hardcore. And Chicago was close to Milwaukee. So I went to college up by Milwaukee. So there were some hardcore bands from Milwaukee, and it was like everyone would go to, you know, Chicago to Milwaukee. There was, you know, Indianapolis was only a couple hours away, Detroit. So it was like a lot of pretty big cities within a, you know, 3-4 hour drive. So it was definitely a cool area growing up with that. But yeah, that's kind of, you know, I got immersed to like all of it early on, and it was just like, you know, I can't go to anything else. Like I can't go sit at a, you know, a big amphitheater with like 80,000 seats and just sit in my chair the whole time while, you know, Slipknot or someone's playing.
You need to throw a shoe or like beat somebody up.
Like, you know, the pit was always like $150 and I never had money. So it was like too expensive to get down there. If you risk going down there, you get thrown out and miss the show in general. So
yeah. Are you just like stand up in your seats? We're doing this shit up here. Yeah, everyone's like, whoa, fucking freaking out.
I did see Slayer though at a big venue. I saw Slayer and that was pretty awesome.
Man, I'm so jealous. I was supposed to go to their last show. Not their last show, but one of their last on their last tours. But unfortunately, my daughter was just born, so I couldn't leave mommy with baby.
Kids ruin everything.
Dude, you're telling me.
I have 3 of them. I have to like make sure my wife's not listening. I mean, I tell her too. I'm like, yeah.
It was going to be such a good one too, because it was the one where it was Slayer. I think it was Lamb of God as well. Megadeth, like all great bands, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think they played that show. I think they played that show that was like with, like you said, it was like the Anthrax, Megadeth, or something. It was
Anthrax as well.
4 or something. Yeah.
So when you go to a show and you're going there, you're not playing there, does it really like fucking amp you up and get you all inspired and motivated to like book your own show?
Yeah. I think it's kind of always been like we've been fighting this, like, this, I think life, everyone has these passions and hobbies that you wish you could do full time. And it's like you get torn because you need to also pay your house, your mortgage, you pay your, for your kids, your family or whatever.
Yep.
So it's like when I go to a show, it's like, man, this would be sick if I was doing this every night or playing every night. Or when I play a show now, it's like, I want to do this every day or, for 10 months out of the year and just play shows every night and meet new people and, kick it with people that like your music or like the genre. Cause I mean, if I meet someone random at the mall or something and they're like, oh, that's a sick shirt or something, I got like a band t-shirt on. It's like, I could talk to that person for like 3 hours about just bands I like, you know what I mean? Or bands we mutually have in common. So it's like the sickest thing ever would be to do that, like as a career and be involved in music that way. So I think every time I play a show or go to a show, it's like, you're just like amped up for that, cause it's like, dude, this is sick that this band is so amazing. And it's like, I can see them tonight and then they're going to do it every night for the next 30 days. And, that kind of stuff is kind of makes you like get a little,
jealous,
kind of daydreaming about it, get a little jealousy, but also be like amped up and be like, dude, this is sick that you guys are doing this,
It's a crazy emotion to think of. Like you look at them and you're yearning for what they get to do, but at the same time you're like, fuck yeah, it's so like it's so crazy. Fuck.
Yeah, I wish, like as I've gotten older, it's like it's kind of sick that I could play shows now whenever I want and still have fun with it and like play pretty good shows, like play shows where, a couple hundred people turn out and it's like a good time, but it's like I also have like a stable good job and I have a house or whatever and
well, good for you, man.
Have the things you can like you could hang on to and be like, okay, like it's kind of sweet being like rightfully employed and not sleeping on like some random dude's couch at 30 years old, but then it's like but at the same time it's like I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my passion or my life's goal or something like that, so you got to constantly kind of have that feeling. You have that internal battle, you know what I mean? I'm sure everyone has it, whether you're into music or into art or whatever it may be,
Well, we'll see, because I play guitar. I'm not insanely good. I play guitar, and I'm working on this game with Josh and a few other people, and we're doing all of this outside stuff, but, I'm a plumber, so I have to do that. It's like, like you said, like you're torn, because you have your responsibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a constant internal, fight or whatever, but I think, if you keep pushing towards it, I've always told myself and like everyone I've been around has been the same way. So it's like, you kind of surround yourself with the people you want to be involved with, because there's always going to be like the negative people and people that are positive for what you're doing. But, I think all of us are just trying to, play as many shows as we can once COVID's over and hopefully we can keep, we'll have to do it around our work and school and whatever else until we can kind of either get better at it or, get more established or, just do it as a hobby.
I mean, shit, you're going in the right direction. I mean, y'all's song is really, really good. So that was one of my next questions, was going to ask about how COVID has affected your plans, but I mean, pretty much it's postponed whenever you can do a show, essentially, as Riverview.
Yeah, I think, most bands we grew up kind of listening to or following or inspired by were always like everyone was like a DIY band and they recorded their own stuff, and you just basically got it good enough so you could have it out and show people. But then you also were just like hitting the ground and playing shows and passing out stickers and t-shirts and other shit that was trying to promote yourself. So since we can't really do that now and, play shows, we're kind of just taking a different approach. And, like I said, Tyler and Jacob wrote a lot of the songs. So we have about 5 or 6 songs that we're pretty confident in to put out on like an EP. And a lot of it's all demoed out. So it's got like, just crappy, like, Studio One or whatever recording program Jacob used, just the drums like in it, and he put them all in, and it sounds very computerized. So it's all just a rough demo, but you still get the picture from it. So I think the big thing is we were able with Knuckles to like take our time and everyone record their parts. And thankfully with technology, and all of us have pretty good recording setups right now, that like I recorded my bass part on Knuckles up in Chicago and sent it to Jacob's computer. And then he, did his guitar part and all that. So we all kind of were able to mix our recorded parts together on our own setups and then, fire it back to Jacob. So
fucking cool.
Like, I fucking love the internet.
Yeah. I mean, there's
literally I was FaceTiming with Jacob because I had never heard Knuckles past like just the guitar riff with the drums. Like I never heard it with like Garrett's vocals or the lead guitar. There was never a lead guitar part on it. So like the first time I heard it, it was just like, there's like all this going on. And I was like writing my bass part for it. And then I would send it to Jacob and he'd be like, oh, change this. I think this would sound better. So me and him were like literally FaceTiming on my iMac while I was playing bass.
Yeah.
And we were running through parts, and then I'd re-record it and send it to him. And then, so it was like, everyone had like a 2 to 3 day span where they were working with Jacob and we were like perfecting our parts and then, sending it all in. And Tyler was really the only one that had to do much for it because he went to a studio in Little Rock to record his drum parts. So he actually went and tracked 2 songs in the studio, which turned out really well. So we have another song now that we're hopefully going to get out before Christmas, but some stuff's come up with just with COVID and stuff and work and things like that. So
shit takes time, man.
We're hoping we'll have another song out by January, and then we want to work on maybe like while COVID's still going on, maybe a music video or something a little more visually appealing for the next song, and then hopefully by February, March we'll have our EP out. So we have a good established timeline, I think, for what we want done, and we're also not feeling rushed by it. So it's good because we can take our time and make it sound as good as we want. And, there's nothing we really need to be like, we got to get this out so we could play a show this weekend or start promoting it at this show or, things like a littler band like us would need. Like if we were opening for a big band and we wanted to have our EP there to sell to people or something like that. So it's kind of nice not having the stresses of that and just being able to, like I said earlier, build an online following and work on our Facebook and Instagram, social media following and promoting our song. So
yeah, dude, cool. I mean, that's like the silver lining of being delayed by the COVID bullshit is that it's like, all right, well, that sucks, but I mean, shit, we can still make new music and we can still promote online. And I mean, you guys have over 1,000 Facebook followers already, like it's ballooned since so that's kick ass.
It's been cool because we didn't really know what to expect. And, Jacob's getting like messages from like people in like, the UK or something. And they're like, oh, I liked your song. And it's like, nice. What? Like, that's pretty wild. Like, we have listeners, we have listeners in the UK. So more than likely you'll get a few from us as well.
Yeah.
No, for sure. It's cool because it's like, it might not be like on the big scheme. Like everyone wants to like throw that song on YouTube or something and then like wake up to like a million views and like be like famous. But like I think everyone's pretty humble in the band. We have an open mind to it. We're just doing it for fun and we like it. And we like the music and whatever happens else, just comes with it. So I think everyone's got a positive outlook on it. No one's like, being a dick and like, oh, this is how it has to be or else we're never going to tour. Like we don't care about that. We just want to release music we like to make and play. And that's the other big thing. Like when I heard Knuckles, I was like, the first thing in my head, I was like, this is going to be fun to play live. Like just the way the drums beat and like, it's got like a bouncy kind of like, feeling through the whole thing. And I'm just like, this is going to be just a fun song to play live. And, hopefully sooner than later we'll be able to do that. So
that should be the song that starts up all the fights in the mosh pit too.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hell yeah. So speaking of Knuckles, what is the song about?
So
Knuckles
with the lyrics,
like, no idea. Like, oh, no.
Yeah, I think Garrett could probably hit on it a little better if he was here, but a lot of like the lyrics in it and hearing him talk about it on other podcasts or just talking about it with the band, I think just kind of falling in line with COVID. I mean, everyone's kind of in this like kind of trapped in like a prison, and you feel like you gotta escape it, and being stuck at home or wherever you are, and not being able to leave and go out and do normal things kind of wears on you after a while. So I think it's just kind of dealing with anxiety and depression while, kind of being in this time period now where you're kind of stuck in kind of what feels like a self-isolating prison kind of thing. So, he's probably better with the poetics of it, but
sure.
I think overall it's just, kind of sometimes feeling like you're, making progress and then taking 2 steps back, 1 step forward kind of thing. So,
Absolutely.
dealing with demons and stuff like that. So,
I gotta say, I've seen COVID spawn a lot of really good art in all forms.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
I hate to admit it, but it's true.
Yeah, but I was just gonna say that the fact that that's good for the artistic minded. Like I feel like us, like we working on shit on the side and doing creative things, but the people that just don't think about it that way, or they don't have, I mean, you don't have to have talent to make art, you just have to do it. But the people that I feel like just don't do it, I think it's been the most miserable for them.
Yeah,
and I think sometimes it like, everyone has stuff going on and everyone's busy, so it's sometimes tough. Like I find it tough sometimes to be like, I need to set aside time to go practice guitar or practice bass or learn a part for a song, so I think this, hopefully COVID has spawned a lot of people to like maybe pick up things they wouldn't do before, or learn an instrument, or get more involved in painting or drawing or writing or something like that, because I think everyone needs that. When I have a stressful day at work or it just seems like it never ends, you just want to like escape it and go do something that you enjoy doing, so that's kind of what music's been for me. And Riverview's been good timing because I've been kind of doing this all through COVID. So as we kind of got going on the writing and stuff, it was just like all of a sudden we're like, bam, let's record this song. And then all of a sudden it was like all of us were all inspired and kind of had this drive to, be at home and be, locked up so we can get the song out. So
yeah, it's like I want to be isolated right now. Yeah,
so
it's
been kind of cool going through all this with it like it's been. So
well, and that's one thing I've thought about. And I know, Josh, you and I have talked about this on a previous episode on one of our regular shows, but like people that are like, I feel like animation and shit like that is just gonna keep going, man. Like people are at home doing this shit and making stuff. Mm-hmm. And same with music. You got people that are doing what y'all are doing and sending tracks to each other via email and shit. And it's amazing what you can do with the internet nowadays.
Yeah. I think one of the coolest things with music is how everyone in bands and stuff had to get creative and figure out other ways to make money. So like a lot of bands I liked started doing like live streams where it was like they got in a studio space and they played like an entire album or two, and they like their older albums or stuff. Like when I was younger, it was like, this was the shit, but now your band's kind of all right now. Like, but then they're like, hey, we're going to stream this entire album.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be studio edited and everything. And it's like, that I'll pay $15-$20 for that. Like, that's sick. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So hopefully that kind of stuff sticks around and bands keep doing that. Cause I like that kind of stuff, watching a live performance of a band in a studio or something like that. So I think that's one good thing.
I feel like they should because I mean, you get to. I feel like it's kind of less stressful for the musicians. They just go to a studio and just play their songs. You know, it's amazing what they can do there.
Not just that. I mean, it's pretty nice for all the people at home. I mean, when COVID first started, I got to see Smashing Pumpkins play live on stream, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
A lot of bands started doing the streaming and stuff when COVID happened, and I think that'd be something cool that bands stuck with that and did it on downtime and stuff. They'd make a lot of money doing it. Plus, it's just a cool thing to have for your band.
For sure.
Absolutely. Well, gang, we are gang. I don't think I've ever fucking said gang. That was not cool. That was dorky as shit. What, gang? Well, we are going to take a very quick break, guys, and we will see you back. And Jeffrey's going to stay with us, and we're going to keep chatting, and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, hope you hung in there, and we are going to continue on. We still have Jeff here, and if you don't know this by now, he's in a band called Riverview, and you need to check them out. And yeah, so I actually have a pretty good question for you here. How many times, if any, have you been flashed by women while on stage?
On stage? I can't say that recently I can recall a time. It's been a little more chill, but I think we might have got maybe a boob back in the day, maybe half a boob.
Half a boob.
Half a boob. I love it.
So like that was on stage. Like you made it sound like off stage. There's a lot more flashing going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the
back
angle, right? For the musicians, you got to get in the green room or whatever. But nah, man.
Awesome.
I've been low key, man. We never really was in a band with too big of a following, and when I played in some of like the hardcore or more metal bands, you know, it's a lot. You attract a lot of sweaty dudes to those shows, so not as many attractive women. So
all right, well, I got an announcement. This is actually pretty amazing. Right now, Josh will flash you if you want. He will flash the hell out of you right now. No.
I mean, you put me on the spot, but I'll do it. You want it?
You got to throw up the sensor,
a little blackboard,
the blurred sensor.
It'll be like one of those midnight waking up in middle school, the Girls Gone Wild commercials.
Oh my god,
yeah.
dude, those were so crazy. Like, okay, y'all. So in my mind, I'm sitting there watching these, thinking if I stay up late enough, they might unblur them. I legit thought that, dude. I thought that they would unblur them eventually. Like, maybe if I stay up till 1 a.m, they'll unblur it. Who knows? I'm gonna do it.
Nah, I've tried.
They had pretty good marketing on that. They always made you feel like if you stuck around through the commercial that you were gonna maybe see a nipple or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they really did. And
they would go from like black bars to like the little blurs, and you're like, oh. I think I see a little pixelized areola there.
Maybe their editor is drunk or something, and they forgot to edit that last scene out. Maybe. Yeah, I remember that shit.
I feel like somewhere, I'm sure some YouTuber has like hardcore like researched it, but I bet you the editors have left at least one nipple per commercial for you to find.
Josh, you go ahead and research that and let me know how it goes.
Happily.
Wonderful.
I was just joking around with my friends actually. Now you say that, we were just drinking some beers, watching some football the other weekend, and we were like, "Dude, where's that guy at now? Like the Girls Gone Wild dude. Like he was like probably like in his mid-30s back when we were kids watching those infomercials, and he had like a private jet on like some Caribbean island. Like the dude's probably like rotten in prison somewhere. I'm assuming some of that was probably not legal, or they were not 18, you know.
He's probably on to like Moms or Grandma's Gone Wild by now.
Oh yeah, it's the same women.
Yeah.
He's just followed them around over the years.
He's the MILF hunter guy now.
Yeah.
Little did we know all those women signed a contract for their entire lives.
It's called the MILF Man now, and he dresses up like a milkman from the 50s. And he follows around there you go. I just came up with a great idea for like a nice little segment there. The MILF Man.
Sounded like a porno you came up with. I don't know.
Or that, or that. So Josh and I were talking before the episode, and we thought this may or may not be too much to ask, but this is kind of what we do here. We don't really give a fuck. We're gonna ask you. All the good bands have criminal records. What's yours?
That's funny. It seems like everyone's always getting like nailed for like either banging like an underage girl or something, or like right before they like drop a record or something. It's like in the past like couple bands I've really been into, like they like were about to drop, like they've dropped a couple new singles, new music videos, and like getting ready for their album, and then it's like, oh, this girl like said she was 19 and she was 17.
Oh my God! What was her name? What was her name, Jeff? What was her name?
No.
I can't speak for the rest of the group, but I think my worst. I don't have a very long track record. I guess I probably don't have much street cred.
Well, that's probably good though. In all honesty.
Yeah.
I mean, if you came on here and you're like, oh God damn. Well, we're going to need more segments because I've done this. And then we'd be like, holy shit!
We need 3 more Zoom calls, yeah. So my first face tat, right? My first teardrop tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had some like run-ins in high school just doing dumb shit, like blowing shit up or, stuff like that. But nothing crazy, just stuff like that, I guess.
Josh's world right there, man, getting into some crazy shit.
Yeah, I worked at a fireworks store with my friends in high school and through college and stuff in the summer. So it was like we got like just ample amounts of fireworks for nothing.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's kick ass. You blow so much shit up. I remember we had a friend on here a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, and they put firecrackers, or they put a firecracker in a fucking tank of their toilet and blew the toilet up. So yeah,
I don't know what it is. It seems like kids, man. When I was a kid, was just mixing chemicals from my dad's garage together and lighting it to see what would happen. Like that was like, I don't know if that was everyone's childhood, but like I was always just trying to like make stuff blow up or whatever.
I heard a lot of those people became like meth dealers.
Yes. So like that's a great idea, but it's either a great idea or a fucking terrible idea where you like go and mix a bunch of random shit together and then set it on fire.
So for anybody listening, never do that at your house. Do it at a friend's house. Do
it at a friend's house and film it, because you can go viral, and that's one way you can eventually make money in this world that we live in right now. So, oh shit, that's awesome. So going back to shows and stuff like that, have you ever, or what would you do if you got booed off of stage? If it got that hardcore, maybe you had diarrhea or something and you couldn't play. And
are people still like that? I feel like everybody's like really vibing where they go.
Maybe they're too drunk. But what if? What if?
I played a couple shows before where it just felt so bad. Like I just was not happy after. Like it was just. I played it, like we played a birthday party one time, and it was like I was just so like on the fence about it, and it was weird. Like that's probably the weirdest thing I've ever done.
Yeah,
it was like a birthday party, and we did covers, but it was like younger kids, and there was like parents there and stuff, and they were like giving us weird looks, and it's like, why are you doing this? And it's like, you paid us to come here and play. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we like sent you the list of songs that you said that you wanted to play, and then we played them, and they're like, oh, this is weird, or this is like too heavy, and it's like, you sent us a list of songs to play. Like,
wow,
I'm not understanding. So I guess that was like a weird situation, but we got paid for it, so it was like, kind of felt like you was at work, Yeah. That's why I like this. Like Riverview is great because it's like an original, expressive outlet. Like before, it's like I played cover bands and stuff. Like I've always traveled some for work, so being in a cover band was always easy because I could just like take my bass or my guitar with and learn songs or practice them on my own. And then like the week before we had a show or something, just make sure we all were together to run through it once before the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that kind of almost makes it feel like you're more in a job rather than like, you know, doing it for fun or because of passion and stuff. So I think having multiple sides of the music spectrum for what I've done playing live and stuff kind of gives me more of appreciation for Riverview now and what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
But yeah, I can't say I've ever been like just completely booed off where people are just throwing shit at you and stuff like that. But I've played like I said, that birthday party was a weird situation where like we were like 2 songs in and I just like looking at my drummer just like, dude, what is going on? Like, this is just awkward as hell. Like, it felt like my grandma just like walked in on me having sex for the first time or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
your grandma was like, "You're not doing it properly." Like, oh shit.
I was always a fan of this position.
Yeah,
thanks, Grandma.
Granny likes it in the rear. All right, I'm done. That's bad.
So I had noticed when I had gone to play the song, I was reading the biography on Spotify, and it said that it started or was created in like 2018, but I guess there were issues with finding band members. So were you their missing puzzle piece that finally brought them together
like I
2
said,
years later?
I'm the fatherly figure that came in and just kind of roped everyone together, and I was like the stepfather that came in and brought the family back together, you know.
We're doing this shit.
You know,
Yeah.
drug addicted children and brought them together and took them to church.
I love it.
No,
That's a good analogy.
Jacob he's been in college. You know, Jacob's in school right now. He goes to college. He's like in accounting or something like that. He's like smart.
Loser. No, I'm kidding.
And yeah, right.
I'm just totally
He's
playing.
wasting all this time on meaningless stuff rather than our band.
Yeah, right?
No, so he's been in college for a while. So I think, you know, around college and stuff. And like I said, Tyler was in that band called Slick Grip. And they were a pretty well-known local band around Central Arkansas. Like I said, they toured up into like, you know, St. Louis, Memphis, Dallas, like pretty much anything within, you know, 8 hours from Little Rock. They were doing like weekend tours and stuff like that. So they had a little more credibility and had more of a presence. So they were touring a little more. So I think Tyler and Jacob always were working on music around his other band. And Jacob's kind of one of those guys, like one day he'll be showing me like this, like just like stupid heavy death metal band that he's like all into. And like, then the next day it's like some kind of like, you know, emo rapper or something like that. So he like, I feel like he's got
all over the place.
Yeah. With
right?
music and stuff. So I could see like if him and Tyler were working on music, why it took a little while to kind of like focus in on one style or one thing. So
that makes sense.
But that's why it kind of took a while. I think they just were constantly working around like Jacob being in school, Tyler being in another band. But for the most part, it was mostly just Jacob and Tyler that came up with like the gist of what our songs are right now. And as you guys hear more or see more of the EP, a lot of that'll be what Jacob and Tyler have written. And then we've all kind of just sprinkled in our own added parts to it. But that's kind of why it's been a work in progress for a while. So, and then COVID, like for the last year, COVID's been a thing. Tyler works at a nursing home. Okay. And they had a lot of exposure to COVID. So Jacob and everyone else was like, you know, we're not going to get together to practice like right now. Like we just, you know what I mean?
Shit. I mean, you really haven't needed to in these last, you know, which is, I mean, it's still like you want the camaraderie of all being in the same area and hanging out and even after your practice, hanging out and having a few drinks and stuff. But it is awesome that you can still make bands. I got to say one thing before I forget. Tell Tyler that the band that he used to be in, Slick Rip, right?
Yeah.
It made me think of a wet fart.
A wet fart?
But yeah, Slick Rip. Like it's like, you know, like you like rip one out.
Oh, I thought you said grip. Like maybe it was like
no, Slick Rip.
Oh, okay.
I thought of a wet fart. Not the first time you brought the name up. The first time I was like, oh, that's kick ass. But the second time you said it, I was like, wet fart. Okay.
I'll tell him he'll get a kick out of it. I'm not sure what happened between him and the other band, but I know they kind of disbanded, and then the other members now have another band that's pretty decent, you know, following around Arkansas and stuff. So hopefully hopefully we'll be linking up and play some shows with them around Arkansas. There's another band from Little Rock called Go for Gold. They're signed to In Vogue Records, which is a pretty good record label in our genre of music. So hopefully we'll start making some connections and stuff like that, and kind of build off that is the goal. So
okay. Yeah, that's
awesome.
kick-ass. It's good to have connections in the industry already, kind of like ready to, talk to and make connections and get things moving.
And Little Rock's Little Rock's a cool city. I say weird, but it's a cool city because it's like got a big city vibe. Like coming from Chicago, it feels like I'm in, a suburb, because it's only like a couple 100,000 people, because I'm used to Chicago, which is like, 3-4 million.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
But everyone knows like everyone in Little Rock, and there's a lot of, networking and stuff people do, and everyone works together with local artists and bands and stuff. And it's like got this like homey kind of like mom and pa kind of feel, where Chicago, it's like, in one of the suburbs, there might be 15 like pop punk bands that are like, local bands. And it's like, it's like stupidly
saturated, man.
The market's like crazy flooded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it's beneficial because you can get a show anywhere, because there's like so many venues and stuff. But pros and cons, but I like living in Little Rock. It's just, smaller scale. I don't have to deal with traffic anymore. And it's just warm year round. I'm sick of snow. Sick of freezing my ass off, scraping ice off my windshield at like 6 a.m.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, for the cold. The loyal listeners know this about me, but I lived in Iowa for 3 years, and I'm from Texas. That's where I am right now. That's where I'm born and raised. Yeah. And when I was in Iowa for 3 years, fuck ice and snow. Nope.
Yeah, it's like, and the wind. It's like the Midwest has like wind, like 60-mile-an-hour winds. It'll be like -10 out, and there's like 80-mile-an-hour winds. It's just like, what is going on?
Like, this sucks ass. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm a plumber, and so I work outside a lot.
Yeah.
I work outside a lot, and I did up north too. I worked outside every fucking day. And dude, not fun in the winter. Not at all. Iowa, go to hell. Actually, you need hell. So
yeah, it's Iowa. I can't imagine all that open space and cornfields and all that.
The wind is just freaking nonstop. It's chaos.
That just meant that you weren't working hard enough to stay warm.
You know what? I'll tell you something, John. Oh God damn it! Here we go. We're gonna get off the tangent. No, I worked very hard. I worked so hard I would sweat, and the sweat would freeze to my fucking face. So, just so you know.
You worked hard for 5 seconds, it sweat, and then it froze to your face because you stopped doing it.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. No, but in all reality, like, as far as the temperature goes, and you know this from being from Chicago, like, if you're cold, or let's say you doing something outside in that terrible, horrible weather, you do eventually get, I don't want to say used to it, but you kind of get acclimated a little bit. But then you go inside of a place that has heat, and you're just relaxing in the heat, and then you go back outside. It's like way worse. Yeah. The second wave.
Yeah, you don't even want to go inside. Sometimes it's like once you're used to it, you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay out here. I don't even want to mess with changing what I'm used to right now.
Yeah, like we would take our lunch breaks in the van, in the plumbing van, the lunch breaks, and it's like nice and hot. And then you're like, fuck, we still got 4.5 hours.
Go back out too.
Yeah, it was so bad. So bad.
I would take my heat anytime I can get it, man.
Same here, man.
I'm a Florida boy. Like if there's a even 5 seconds I can get some heat.
Well, dude,
I will cuddle up next to anything.
A few days ago, you were bitching about the cold, and I'm like, you said it was like
still cold. This little box right here is this new little heater that I bought, and it came in today because I'm tired of it being fucking cold, man.
Weenie Hut Jr. over there.
Yeah, man. Me and the cold don't get along. I prefer like 90 to 100 degree weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it is now for me. Like now it's like last summer or whatever was like my first full year in Arkansas. It was like I'd come home from work or whatever, or be working from home and take my dog out. Because I've been working from home since like March, so it's kind of been like I forget what it's like going to an actual office. But but like take my dog out for a walk after work and it's like 5 or 6 o'clock and it's still like 101 degrees with like 100% humidity and I'm like sweating my ass off. Gotta like take a shower from like just walking my dog around my apartment complex or whatever. So it's got, you know, pros and cons, but definitely I'd rather sweat my ass off in the summer than freeze my ass off in the winter for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, people used to say the saying that always seemed to make sense to me. And I know I'm ill prepared for cold weather being a Floridian, but I mean, they always say you can dress and be prepared for the cold, but you can only get so naked for the heat. But,
yeah.
I mean, I can tolerate the heat. I can tolerate sweating. That's fine. But
well, see, when I'm outside in the heat, I drink more water for one, which is better for me, obviously, and I just take more breaks to cool off. And I have in my van I carry a fan, like a big ass fan, and I just plug it in and I set it down next to me when I work, and I'm good. The cold, if you work your ass off and you take a break, you're fucked. Your joints hurt. Like, oh man, all that shit is just terrible. Terrible.
So, Jeff, you're a gamer, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, Warzone. Been kind of staying at it, staying active, physically fit, sitting on my couch playing a lot of video games through COVID and quarantine.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
So
I just downloaded Warzone yesterday, actually. So we'll have to link up, man. I have no idea what I'm doing. I hear it's pretty much the Fortnite of Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's just like I was playing Fortnite for a while, and then once Warzone came out, it was like I kind of like gravitate to where my friends are playing. So I'm not like a diehard gamer where it's like these are my games and I have to play them. It's like what am I going to be able to shit talk everyone on of my friends while, you know,
there you go,
playing video games or whatever. So it was Fortnite for a while. Then everyone kind of got sick of that and got on Call of Duty when that came out, and I've kind of been stuck on it. But I actually screwed up, and when I came home back to Chicago for like Thanksgiving, I came back up in like October, and I was like, I'm only gonna be up here for a few weeks. I'm just gonna leave my Xbox in Arkansas, and then I'm still up here, and it's December now. So like all my friends are like, dude, buy a fucking Xbox while you're up there. Like just you got to have one. Like, how are you going so long? So I haven't played for a few months now. So I'm like forgetting like what even it felt like turning the Xbox on. So
you know what you're gonna have to try if you get bored. And I don't know, maybe you have. I could be wrong, but you should try to write lyrics and shit for songs.
Yeah, right.
That would be kick ass.
I'm bad at the writing with lyrics and stuff. Like our singer always is like throwing stuff out and like just writing, and I'm just like, it's like he's coming up with like cool shit all the time that sounds cool, and I'll be like, this couldn't my shit can't even like be like a children's nursery or something like that. Like it's like,
well, that's fucking awesome.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I could too. So is there anything that you are allowed to reveal about Riverview as far as any like song titles or anything like descriptive about another song coming out that you can reveal that's supposedly top secret that you can share?
We're still kind of throwing ideas around. Like I said, we want to have a second song out. We were hoping for before Christmas because Tyler recorded the drums on it because he recorded 2 tracks. But we kind of had this like a dummy name for the song. We haven't actually have a name for it yet, and I think a lot of that was because we didn't have a vocalist. Before I was in the band, me and Garrett weren't in the band, and so they didn't have a bass player or vocalist. So a lot of the lyrics weren't written. So just trying to see like what the energy of the song goes with like, you know, Garrett's vocals and what he's written. Garrett's always sending us like, he'll always send vocals for songs over like through our text group and stuff, and it's like they're always bouncing around like what could be for this song or that song. The song it's currently labeled as right now is called Drop Hole, is going to be our second song. And that's kind of like a dummy song name right now. We don't have, like I said, we don't have a legit name for it yet. And I think that's because Garrett and Jacob are going to work on seeing what lyrics go well with the song or whatever. So, but like I said, our goal is to, this next song that we have come out, either do a music video or a lyric video or something a little more enticing visually for the fans and for everyone.
Sure.
I think we could probably make a music video. It's just getting us all together. I was up in Chicago for the holidays, and everyone else kind of lives scattered around Little Rock. So with COVID still being kind of, present, I was up in Chicago. We didn't really have time to make a music video, but I think I'm going to be back after Christmas down in Little Rock, so I'll be able to link up with those guys, and I think we'll be able to probably come up with some cool stuff for the next song that we drop. But it is going to have, we're probably going to have Garrett's a really good acoustic guitar player too, so I think we're going to have an acoustic song on the EP that Garrett will probably do completely himself, which will be cool.
Oh, nice.
He's very talented, so it'll be cool to see him put himself out there with some acoustic music and kind of break up the album a little bit. But I think a lot of good stuff in the works for us, and excited to show everyone, and definitely happy to be a part of it for sure. So, but yeah, that's about all I got. Like I said, a lot of it's still in the works with, besides the actual songs being written out, a lot of the names and other stuff is still kind of secretive. Jacob kind of keeps it all in his vault too, so he's.
Hey, I don't blame him. Nice. Well, shit, man, it was great having you on, and we will definitely be posting whatever links you want us to post in the description. We can post those so we can get our listeners to you, and we can try to help promote you and get you guys some more listens and some more fans.
Yeah, for sure.
For anybody listening, listen to the song Knuckles. It's awesome.
It is for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, anything on our Facebook or Instagram, or like you said earlier in the show, Spotify, iTunes, that's where you'll find all our music on. So appreciate all the help.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely. Well, you have yourself a wonderful night, and we will catch you soon. And hopefully we can have you or some other guys back on, and we can do another show eventually.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be fun to get everyone else on.
And after COVID, man, we want some tickets.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah.
That's a given.
Tickets. Yeah, first round's on me, guys.
All right.
Yeah. That's a verbal contract.
It will hold up. I won't back out.
Technically, it is recorded, but yeah. No, you're good. All right, man. You have yourselves a good one.
All right, take care, guys. Appreciate it.
You too.